Beautiful.
My nose looks so big normally, and then you put it in front of the camera.
With that?
I am. Well, you should see it when you look directly in that lens. It's
Are
like,
you
ooh.
Italian?
What do you think?
Yeah.
Embrace the nose.
I have to.
You're German.
I kinda have to.
I thought Sie Deutsch.
First, I'm Michigan.
I thought you were Irish. I mean, Sean.
Sean's the Irish name. I got an Irish first name, a German last name, and I'm mostly Italian. Speaking of mutts. Hey!
Hey.
Hey! These are the jokes. They get old. I'm sorry. First question, administrative question. Did Blackboard work for you guys?
Yes.
Is anybody unsure if Blackboard worked for you? If that is the case, email me a hard copy of your quiz. I'll make sure. So what I'm going to do is, starting tonight-ish, I'm going to get into Blackboard and start grading those bad boys. It shouldn't take long to grade. I know the quiz was exceptionally difficult, and I apologize for that. I want to get that graded and get you a progress report tomorrow. Progress report will have not much in it. It'll have website quiz grade, your total points grade, and you have 5 bonus points you don't know about yet, but we'll talk about that next week. So you'll probably have like 150% average right now.
Nice.
So if it says 0, and you know you turned the quiz in and got everything right, that means there was a Blackboard issue. I don't know, I'll figure out what they are. If you're unsure, just send me a hard copy. If you get a 0 on the progress report, just send me a hard copy and I'll fix it. By next week, we'll have all this squared away. I haven't even gone into Blackboard to look at what's there yet. So whatever you've done is more than what I've done so far. So just so you know, Blackboard idiot. So we'll figure this all out and learn together. My plan was to make a Blackboard video custom. I have that, there's a video on my website that says how to submit an assessment in Blackboard. Did that help everybody or some of you?
Yeah.
If you had to watch it. My plan was to make a custom one for my Blackboard screen so you would actually see my Blackboard links in there. Like hit this button. The basic gist is you shouldn't have to type anything once you're in Blackboard. You simply upload a document, right? I think people are getting confused because some teachers make them copy-paste. Some people make you type directly into the boxes and things like that. If you're typing anything, you're doing too much work. Does that make sense? And we'll deal with this. We'll deal with this as we go through the next couple days. So progress report coming out tomorrow, barring some emergency that I can't foresee right now. This one's tight. And if something happens with the progress report, just let me know, send me a hard copy, we'll deal with it, we'll make everything right. Cool? All right, that's the first administrative thing. Getting to yours, Katie, great question. Second, I put some quizzes up for next week.
Get it.
Get it, I'm saying? There's 2 linked right now, a 3rd coming. Now I see some panic looks. 3 quizzes, what the hell do you think I am? Do you have to do all 3 of them?
No.
No.
Do you have to do 2 of them?
No.
Do you have to do 1 of them?
Yes.
No.
Should.
Well, okay, have to versus should is a different story, right?
That's a trick question.
No, you don't have to do any of them. You can look at all 3 of those and ignore all 3 of them. The only thing you have to do, unless you want to lose points, is do what?
10
By the end of the term, Sandra? Sandra? Is that right? Sandra. 10 by the end of the term. That's what you have to do. How many did the website quiz? Well, there's 1. Now you got 9 left to do, yes?
Yeah.
So if you do 3 next week, you've done 4 of 10. That's a nice buffer, yes?
Yeah.
That's a nice buffer. And the reason I like that is because I know you guys are not taking just this class. I also know a bunch of you are working. I know a bunch of you are parents. I know a bunch of you might be working 2 jobs, and God knows what else is going on. You can, fishing, steelhead season. All kinds of stuff going on. Punk rock shows, all kinds of stuff, right? If you can front load as much as you can and give yourself that cushion, this is why the should is so important. If you can front load as much as you can right now, you can give yourself a gift of a couple non-quiz weeks later on and focus on other classes if you need to be. I am not of the opinion that you have to be turning things in all the time in this class. I trust that you will find the time that you need to do it. For me personally, I need to do stuff constantly to learn it. But not everybody's like that. Maybe you are. Maybe you're like me and that constant repetition is necessary. But to pretend that everybody learns that way is to ignore the variability in how we learn. I figure by now you know how you learn. If you need a week to spend on writing 227, by all means, spend that week. You know, I try to space things out so you have that week. I apologize if big assessments fall with other big assessments from other classes. It's going to happen to some of you just by randomness, right? So I do apologize about that. Katie asked a very good question, a 3rd administrative point. Am I creating an online section for these courses? I am trying my damnedest to make it work. The reason I can't yet is because I do things so differently, it doesn't fit any of those hand molds, so I have to build it from scratch. So I'm working, this year is part of the reason I'm working towards it. Oh, sorry, I jumped the gun. There's 3 quizzes for next week. One of them is on topics you'll pick up today. So we're going to learn a bunch of stuff today, fun stuff. Collect some ideas, some graphical ideas, some terminology, some neat other kinds of graphical displays. The second one I call a primer quiz. There's not much math in this course, not much at all. Adding, subtracting, a little bit of equation solving occasionally. I made a quiz up with a bunch of like examples. We did something similar in 105 if I remember correctly. You know, but some little skills you might want to just bone up on in case you need to practice on, like, you know, finding the average of a bunch of numbers, quick average, solving a base, actually not even finding average, solving a simple linear equation, converting a decimal to a percentage, approximating a certain fraction based on a description. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't even know.
Whoa.
Hey, guess what? You can skip that quiz. You can skip.
Said the same thing. Mom, it's statistics, it's not math.
It's-
It's got numbers.
It's got Portuguese and Spanish, remember. Or si, bueno. It's got a little bit of math. And that's what that quiz is, a little bit of math. Skip it if you don't want to do it.
Okay.
So you got that quiz, you got I call it the chapter 1 quiz today, and there's a third quiz that I'm in the process of building. I made about 2/3 of it this morning, I didn't get it done. It's the ISIS quiz. Was I talking to you guys about this?
Oh my gosh.
You're gonna learn, no, it's a more general thing. It's not about like, you know, what do you think about ISIS? Sorry. We're gonna learn something today called a margin of error, about something called a margin of error. Some of you are not, you've heard it before. Good, this will be old news for some of you. It's probably gonna be brand new for most of you. It's how to read news media more precisely. Not more accurately, but more precisely, more correctly. Let's say more correctly. I'm building a quiz based off a Gallup poll I just saw. It's a Gallup poll from September 10th, so about a month ago, about how the U.S. American voting populace feels our federal government is doing in international affairs and also domestic affairs. So we're going to learn how to make sure we can look at a scientific poll and interpret the results correctly, because the polls themselves don't always use the headlines correctly. The headlines are often inaccurate. The polls themselves are great, but how many people read past the headline anymore? It's very hard. I do too. I'm almost preaching to the choir in here, I would imagine, and I will be by the end of the term. But so much hits us every day information-wise that sometimes it's hard to get past. I'll give you a perfect example, not related to statistics. Have you guys seen, it came across my Facebook page about 3 days ago, a shock picture. It's a picture of a bunch of tires in the bottom of the ocean. And my friend that posted it said it to his news feed or my news feed, said, "Can you believe this is happening?" And the headline was like, you know, tires dumped off the coast of blah, 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 blah. I don't know if you guys saw this or not. Maybe you did. Nobody's seen it except me. Okay, that's okay. So there's a picture of a diver on top of what looks like 1,000 tires laying in the bottom of the ocean. And the comments were like, "This is terrible. We're doing to our planet, blah, 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 blah." So I did a little research. I said, okay, this is terrible. I'm a hippie. I get it. So this looks terrible. What happened was, in the 1970s, a reef had died at that spot due to probably environmental encroachment by humans at the reef. And we didn't know better back then. You go to Yellowstone National Park in 1950, people were throwing coins into that morning glory pool. Hey, it's a wishing well. No, it's a very fragile geologic wonder. Thank you for your penny. I mean, you go there now and there's trash in it. People don't understand. People spray paint Skeleton Cave and they put bars on it because you can't go into it anymore. People don't understand what we've got, the beauty of what we got. Sometimes it was ignorance, sometimes it was malicious, but whatever. That reef is gone. So the Army Corps of Engineers, I believe it was the Army Corps of Engineers, decided to try to rebuild the reef by taking a bunch of tires that were only collecting mosquito larvae by sitting on the surface of the land, wrapping them into some kind of material of tarp, and then painstakingly rebuilding the reef system using what I thought was a very clever use of old trash repurposed as a reef. Genius. Also short-sighted, because since the tires are made of a petroleum-based substance, no animal life will attach to it. That was learned. That was learned over the course of 30 years as the material broke down and the tires spilled out onto the ocean floor. The diver in the picture was a scientist trying to figure out what it's going to take to clean up the mess. It wasn't that we're dumping tires into the ocean willy-nilly. It's the result of a failed scientific experiment. An unfortunate one, but a well-meaning one. That's what I call improper interpretation of news media. You see a picture, your gut reacts, and you don't back it up with facts. I read deeply too. You have to. You have to, otherwise you don't realize stuff like that. So that's kind of what the third quiz is going to be like. I'm in the middle of building that for you guys. Cool? Cool. So anyway, that's the 3 for next week. As many or as few as you want. Many as few as you want. And I'll get Blackboard links up. There are no Blackboard links for them yet, but you can download them and start working on them, clearly. Okay. The only thing you can't do right now is upload them to Blackboard, but that doesn't matter. until 10/14, at latest 10/14 next week, a week from today, right?
Right.
And it'll be up well before that. Well before that. I won't make you wait till 10 minutes before class to submit. Cool?
Cool.
That's administrative stuff. And I'm still working on the online just because there's so much other stuff that I have to get to first for you guys. The online gets built.
I just didn't know if it was pushed back from the administration. Like,
No, it just gets, well, yeah, kind of. The contract issue too kind of pushes it back. But honestly, I'm going to make sure.
We could sign a petition.
You could, but it's not going to free up funds for this budget cycle.
Oh, it's not?
It's okay. It's okay. I'm working on it. I got some big, yeah, we'll talk later.
You got a box.
Oh, hell yeah, I got your backs. They're the only backs I care about. Yeah, for sure. Cool? Everybody with me? You guys have any questions for me?